Why, hello everybody. It's Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician. Hope everybody's doing good. I'm doing pretty good. I've just been busy working on multiple jobs. Let's see, that's going to be an engine pull. This already has been an engine pull and practically a complete rebuild. The cylinder head for my Toyota has finally come in. And so myself, or actually my partner and I, my mentor and I, will be going over that used cylinder head. And actually, some of the circumstances and situations surrounding this job, we're just going to see if we can just install that used head without having to machine it, so long as it's not warped. And we check it out with a straight edge or a plane, then I think that's what we're going to do. And then, as you know, I'm not just automotive technology here. You know, I am trying to work my way into a shop, and I've got a wife and 4 kids to feed, and so I stay at home and work while I also take care of the 4 kids and stuff. And so I also do small engines as well. And a lot of times, well, I mean, bottom line is small engines. It's not automotive technology. It's not the same thing as, let's say, replacing the timing on a Chrysler. You know, and so I really enjoy jumping back and forth between different types of jobs, different types of engineering, and even different types of mindsets, because to work on this takes a completely different type of mindset to work on this. So what do we have here? We have a 28 horsepower Kohler model number cv745 engine, little V-twin engine, okay? And this one came... It was leaking all around the base gasket or oil pan gasket, and so we had to pull the engine and open it up in order to replace that gasket. And so while we're doing that, we're just going to go ahead and replace everything, cylinder head gaskets, you name it. Everything has been washed, everything has been cleaned, everything has been blown out, and just about everything other than pistons, piston rings, crankshaft, camshaft, and rods and rockers are going to be replaced. We even have some new hydraulic lifters, as you can see here, to replace them with. And as you can see, I pretty much have everything well organized and laid out. Time to put back together. We have our main oil seals, crank seals, top and bottom seals, so I'll be replacing that today. And then as I rebuild this, I will be replacing every seal that you see. These are going to be my, right here, these blue ones. These are going to be my fuel injector, O-rings, that's oil. These are my head gasket seals, and they're kits. So I've got exhaust gaskets, I've got new bolts, I've got new head gaskets inside of there. This is my new positive crankcase ventilation system. This is the reason why all these gaskets blew in the first place, was because this system got clogged up. Interesting enough, they come in 2s. So I'll be installing one new and giving one back to the owner to keep for himself. Here's our oil pan gasket. Comes with a new alignment dowel there. And so it is time to start piecing all this back together. Now, what I've got to do this with, I've got RTV, I've got just a little bit of dielectric tune-up grease. Now, the only reason why I'm doing this is if I need something to lubricate something with, maybe, you know, just take a little bit like that and stick it on a O-ring or something. It's what's available here in my garage right now. And then for the real serious stuff, I went ahead and picked up Kohler's Camshaft lube, and that's what I'm going to do. And then I also have my grease gun with a little bit of assembly lube in there. So, and then right now I have bulk sitting around 10W40. I got it on sale. I've got like 10 quarts of that for $10 a while back ago. So I'm just kind of soaking stuff in that. There's nothing special about it, you know, using that to coat my cylinder walls and stuff like that. Just, you know, coat everything in a little bit of oil, because we did pressure wash and clean all of this out. So, well, I say let's get to building engines. Now, like I said, this is not automotive technology, so we can't be thinking, you know, setting TDC one way and all this other stuff. So our factory manual tells us to go ahead, when we install our cam, to go ahead and place your shims where they need to be. All right, here's our camshaft here, and this is your shim. Now, if you use your micrometer and you measure this, this is going to come out to 0.686 millimeters. That's 0.02 of an inch. And what these do is they keep backlash from, they basically keep this from, if you can see where it fits right into there. So as this is working, they keep it from going back and forth like this and smacking the casing there as it just sits right in front of the casing. So follow your factory procedures, follow your diagrams, make sure you know where your shims are, make sure you measure them to make sure they fall within specification and all that other good stuff, and place them in there. Also, another thing in doing a job like this, it's always good to keep compressed air around. As you can see down in there, there's a nice little oil hole and port. I've already poured some oil in there and got that nice and lubricated. But before I did that, I stuck the compressed air down in there, and I stuck the compressed air down inside of all those oil holes. And I made sure to blow them all out and also clean them out with brake clean or parts cleaner, displace any water, and make sure that it's all out of there. And then I went ahead and just lubed everything already with oil, including my camshaft, my pistons, my cylinder walls, so everything turns good. So upon reinstallation, you've got a mark right here on your crankshaft, and you're going to want to set that at about 6 o'clock, and then, or I'm sorry, at about 12 o'clock. And then you've got a mark here on your camshaft, and you're going to want to set that at 6 o'clock when you install. But before you install, you're going to want to go ahead and pre-lube every one of these lobes, and just go ahead and pour a little bit of oil down in there. Get a little bit of oil on the end of your finger and just rub it on here. Maybe get a little bit inside of those gears. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this properly lubed up, and I'll show you what that looks like. And then we're going to get it dropped in here. I'm going to show you where you want your governor to be at when you drop your camshaft back in there as well. Alright, and so there's not much to it. Again, you just take your assembly lube there, and you just, it's an arts and crafts project, and you get everything nice and coated. Make sure your shims are in place. Make sure your dots are in place. You're going to want your crankshaft at 12 o'clock, and then the dot on your cam, you're going to want at 6 o'clock. And then you're going to want to, after you've installed your governor, you're just going to want to turn it clockwise from the top. So turn it clockwise from the top and make sure it makes connection with the cylinder, and make sure that it stays in that position as you install your cam. So I'm going to get my cam installed now, and I'm only one man, so I'm going to have to pause and put the camera down, and then we'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so now that our camshaft is properly installed, this is where I end up kind of hitting a little bit of a snag, because I ran into, as you can see, a broken shim. Now this shim is 0.02 of an inch thick, which is obviously, you can see, basically paper thin. Okay, and it's very important that this shim goes here on our crankshaft. Alright, and I found this shim broken. I ordered a new one today, but that shim is what keeps the backlash between the crankshaft and the back cover from happening. So keeps it from jumping back and forth like that. So until this shim comes in, I'm not going to be able to install my back cover. So I went ahead and prepared my cylinder heads for installation, and I'm also waiting on another hydraulic lifter. I've got 3 hydraulic lifters. One was in stock today, so I'm waiting on another one to be shipped. Should be here by Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and get this engine set up and go ahead and install at least one side of the cylinder heads here. Okay, so as far as my lifter goes, I have soaked them in oil. I only soaked them really for about, I don't know, 20-30 minutes. And I went ahead and used my assembly lube specifically for my camshaft on my guides for my lifters there. And then I just kind of soaked everything in oil. I've coated the inside of the cylinder with just a light coat of oil. And all I've really done is taken my finger, dipped it in my oil mess, you can see here, and then just kind of ran it through here. Okay. Now I've got my head gasket laid on there, And next I'm going to lay my head and use all of my bolts to torque everything according to specifications, and we will go from there. Okay, now that we got our cylinder head installed with our new gasket, we've got new bolts and new washers as part of our kit. It is now time to tighten and torque this down. Okay, you're going to use your inch-pound torque wrench, and you're going to go 270 is where you're going to start at, 270 inch-pounds, and then you're going to work your way on up to 360. So you're going to start here. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be stage 1, and then click it on up to 360. And go 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Okay, so as you know, I'm only human, and before I really get into any of this type of work, I always double, sometimes triple check my own work, my own thoughts, my own theories, you name it. And so before I started my torque sequence, because once you torque this down, once you compress this gasket, that's it, you're done. If you have to take it back off, you're going to need a whole new gasket. So ultimately, before I started my torque sequence, I just double checked one last time, and sure enough, I believe I stated you start at 260 and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, what it's going to be is you start off at 200 and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then bring it up to 360 inch-pounds and go 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, we're going to go 200 inch-pounds. We're going to make sure to set 200 inch-pounds on our torque wrench. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to bring it up to 360 inch-pounds and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And be finished with that process. All right. And now we've got our rockers and our rods installed. Now the way I uninstalled these, I'd made sure to keep my intake on my intake and my exhaust on my exhaust. And do not mix and match cylinder head parts. Make sure everything goes back exactly where it came out of. These rockers are going to be tightened down to 160 inch-pounds. So again, you're going to want to use your torque wrench and tighten those down to 160 inch-pounds. Now, because I'm waiting on another hydraulic lifter to come in, I can't install this other side yet. So I really can't do the next step in the process. So the next step in the process is once you get both cylinder heads installed and your rockers and everything torqued and tightened down according to specifications, is to go ahead and then turn your crankshaft. And, you know, factory process tells you only turn it, 2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 full rotations to make sure everything is working and moving accordingly. Actually, if it were I'm probably going to turn it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different times once I get it all put back together, just to make sure that everything is moving accordingly. Now, if I had both cylinder heads installed here and had the ability to check it right now and turn it over, the next step in the process would be to check your valves. And you want to use your feeler gauge, take a feeler gauge, and the factory setting is 0.25 millimeters or 0.010 of an inch. And yeah, you're just going to want to stick it. Once you set it properly after you've checked everything, then you're just going to want to check for that clearance underneath here and underneath here. And once you've got all that accordingly, then you can go ahead and install your brand new valve cover. So, and we even have brand new valve cover bolts. And since I'm going to be removing this again to check my clearance, once I get what I need in to finish the other side over there, then I'm going to remove this valve cover again. I'm just going to hand tighten it for now. Alright, there you have it. One side of this engine is basically done. So she's coming together nicely. Now I'm going to clean up my top oil ports and all that other good stuff while I'm waiting. And I'm also going to go ahead and I think just if I can, we'll see here. I'll grab the other valve cover. I'm just going to place the other valve cover on here to keep that covered up while I wait. So Friday I should have what I need to finish this job out. So, well, there you have it, folks. Now, also in the meantime, I'm going to be installing my new oil seals, as you can see here. And then I've got my O-rings for my fuel system. And I keep my fuel injectors and fuel lines wrapped in plastic wrap during the whole process to make sure no contamination gets inside of there. And I also need to fabricate a intake gasket, which is the air filter gasket. So, all right, everybody. Well, if you felt like you learned something, please like, share. Thank you for supporting me, Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician. If you have any questions, just ask them, and I'll get to you when I have a little bit of downtime. All right, everybody. Well, hope you have a good day and you enjoy the video.